It started in the late 1990s, when whispers of a new cartel began to ripple across the US-Mexico border. They called themselves Los Halcones Negros, the Black Hawks, and like other cartels, they were not just drug traffickers. They were investors, businessmen, and master manipulators. They ran construction companies, nightclubs, even charities. And all of it was amassed for cocaine, heroin, and violence. The FBI, determined to stop this rising force, launched a classified mission known as Operation Iron Veil. It was meant to infiltrate, dismantle, and expose the cartel from the inside. But what no one realized at the time was that the greatest threat wasn't just the cartel. The danger was inside the Bureau itself. The FBI's Iron Veil Task Force was considered elite. Hand-picked agents with flawless records, at least on paper. Leading them was Agent Thomas Rourke, a decorated veteran with a reputation for being unstoppable. But beneath his crisp suit and polished badge was a man drowning in secrets, gambling debts, shadowy contacts, and hidden bank accounts. Strange things began to happen. Carefully planned raids failed. Safe houses were abandoned just hours before FBI teams arrived. Evidence evaporated. Informants vanished. It was as if the cartel had eyes inside the Bureau itself. Whispers grew louder. Someone's leaking intel. Los Halcones Negros thrived in the chaos. They expanded across Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico, turning small towns into battlefields of addiction and violence. Their leaders paraded their wealth SUV convoys rolling through desert highways, extravagant parties in fortified mansions, and politicians quietly on their payroll. For the cartel, bribing cops and judges was routine. But gaining a foothold in the FBI, that was power on an entirely new level. Every time the Bureau struck, the cartel struck back harder. And the line between law enforcement and organized crime blurred into shadow. While federal agencies scrambled, one woman began piecing together a disturbing pattern. Maya Delgado, an investigative journalist from El Paso, noticed how every FBI raid ended in failure, how cartel leaders seemed untouchable, how whistleblowers ended up silenced. Her editor warned her to stay away, but Delgado was relentless. Night after night, she connected dots: failed raids, dead informants, and agents living above their means. Her articles asked a dangerous question: was the FBI protecting the cartel instead of fighting it? The Bureau dismissed her as a conspiracy theorist, but her voice refused to fade. By 2002, cracks in the FBI's walls could no longer be ignored. A new supervisor, Ellen Ward, was assigned to oversee Iron Veil, and like her predecessors, she was sharp, methodical, and unwilling to play politics. She dug deep into case files, communication logs, and surveillance tapes. What she uncovered was alarming: reports rewritten, signatures forged, and crucial evidence missing from archives. This wasn't sloppiness, it was sabotage. Ward realized that if corruption existed, it wasn't isolated, it was systemic. And exposing it might mean not only the end of her career but her life. The break came from within. Daniel Pierce, a young, nervous recruit on Rourke's team, had seen things he couldn't ignore. Late-night meetings with cartel intermediaries, secret phone calls, hidden codes and mission files. Terrified but determined, Pierce gathered recordings and documents. He brought them directly to Ward. The evidence was explosive. Rourke was leaking classified intel to cartel leaders for millions in bribes, but when Ward tried to take this evidence to Washington, her requests were buried. Calls went unanswered, doors slammed shut. It was clear, the corruption reached higher than she had ever imagined. And then, the killings began. One night, Pierce's car exploded outside his apartment. The official story called it an accident, but Ward knew it was murder. Other whistleblowers disappeared, files vanished. Every attempt to expose the truth was crushed before it reached daylight. Rourke wasn't acting alone. A network of compromised agents, marshals, and even prosecutors worked to silence anyone who dared to resist. Operation Iron Veil was no longer about stopping the cartel, it was about covering the Bureau's betrayal. The guardians of justice had become accomplices. Hope came from the outside. Delgado, the journalist, received a package from an anonymous source. Inside were bank records, surveillance photos, and coded FBI memos leaked evidence Pierce had hidden before his death. Delgado went public. Her expose hit national headlines. FBI scandal, cartel money buys federal protection. The Department of Justice was forced to intervene. But the Bureau hit back, smearing Delgado as unstable and reassigned Ward to a desk job in D.C. Still, the cracks widened. Public outrage was boiling, and truth was no longer containable. In 2005, an independent task force led by the D&IRS bypassed the FBI entirely. Without warning, they raided Rourke's Virginia mansion at dawn. What they found was damning: walls stuffed with hidden cash, coded ledgers linking cartel payments to FBI operations, and photos of agents who had mysteriously disappeared. Rourke was arrested in handcuffs, but even behind bars, he stayed silent. Some say he feared cartel retribution more than prison. Others believe he still protected someone higher in the chain, names that remain secret to this day. The Iron Veil scandal became one of the darkest stains in FBI history. Dozens of agents quietly retired, a few were prosecuted. But many questions remained unanswered. How deep had the corruption gone? How many cases had been sabotaged? And how many cartel leaders still walked free because of it? Ellen Ward retired in silence. Maya Delgado continued her work, warning that the same cracks still existed. When the guardians of justice fall, she wrote, "We don't lose to criminals, we defeat ourselves." The legacy of Iron Veil was not just betrayal. It was a reminder that even the strongest institutions are fragile. And corruption, once rooted, never truly dies.